1, 2, 3. Go! Good. Did we get it? That's it. You don't grab me. That's it.
Look at the camera.
All right.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Today I'm pleased to introduce to you the Acting Secretary of Homeland Security, Elaine Duke. Elaine Duke became Acting Secretary of DHS on July 31st of this year. She was previously sworn in as Deputy Director of DHS on April 10th, 2017. Acting Secretary Duke is an accomplished leader and civil servant. She has served across the federal government for nearly 30 years, including crucial leadership roles in the stand-up of the Transportation Security Administration and with the DHS headquarters in its beginning days. She served as DHS Undersecretary for Management before becoming the principal of Elaine Duke and Associates LLC until her appointment to DHS earlier this year. Please join me in welcoming Acting Secretary Duke. Holding your hand here, it keeps that noise you'll hear.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. We finally got the shovels right, so thank you for being patient while we did that. I'd like to welcome everyone here, especially the employees of USCIS. I know this is a big, there? Okay. This is an important time. I was an employee, a career employee at the Navy when we moved from Crystal City to the Washington Navy Yard. So I understand that despite the fact we're going to have a brand new building close to the metro in an amazing area, if you run the building the way you ran this groundbreaking, we'll be in good shape. Thank you. But it's still a time of change, and we understand that. I am so thrilled we have Director Cisna and Deputy Director McCamick leading CIS through this. We pledge to you that we'll work with our builder, GSA, our representatives, to make sure the transition is as smooth as possible with providing you the information and the tools you need to adjust your commutes and your lives to this brand new, beautiful locations. I think that it's going to be a wonderful thing. This will be the first time that USCIS actually has a singular headquarters for all of its people, and I think that's an amazing thing. And I think that you'll find that once you're together and you've adjusted your commutes, it's going to be even better in terms of your ability to work and carry out the mission in the amazing way I've seen you do it over the past 6 months. I'm proud to be a part of your team. I'll challenge GSA to a contest whether you move in or we move into St. E's first. But you can, that'll be for later. And I thank you all and wish you the best and stay warm.
Well, thank you, Secretary Duke. Next, I would like to call our congressman from the 4th Congressional District, Anthony Brown, who was just elected, who has worked tirelessly to make sure that the CIS headquarters, the USCIS headquarters, moves to Prince George's County, and it's a first-rate facility. And yes, Secretary Duke, we're going to take you up at a 10-to-1 odds offer that USCIS will move in way before DHS. Anthony Brown.
How's everybody doing? Good. Welcome to the 4th Congressional District. This is a very, very exciting day for us in the 4th Congressional District, for us here in Prince George's County, in Maryland, and quite frankly, for the nation. I want to start by thanking Secretary Elaine Duke, who's confirmed as the Deputy Secretary and currently is doing just an extraordinary job with a fabulous team at DHS. I had an opportunity, for many of you that don't know, most of you do, FEMA falls under DHS. I had an opportunity to spend the last 2 days in Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Island, and I'm here to tell you that this is perhaps the most difficult relief effort in the history of our nation, and the men and women in FEMA are coordinating a really, really tremendous effort and really doing a great job. So please bring that back to your folks at FEMA. Want to thank Director Cisna and your team at USCIS, as well as the good people at GSA and your Administrator Tim Horn doing an outstanding job. And as I mentioned to Administrator Horn, there's plenty of real estate in Prince George's County as you're looking to consolidate in the National Capital Region. You're going to hear from elected officials. I'll give a shout out to Prince George's County Executive Rashawn Baker, to our Council Chair Derek Leon Davis, and to the council member whose district we are in, Obie Patterson. And I know Obie will recognize his colleagues when he speaks. And finally, by way of thank you, I want to thank the advocate, the developer, and a good friend, Peter Schwartz, for his tireless effort in ensuring that we were going to be here today breaking ground on what is going to be a fabulous project here in Prince George County. So thank you, Peter. Great job. He thought he was taking the mic from me. I just got started. Look, Prince George's County is on the move, and this is just a part of it. We've got a $1.2 billion project at MGM National Harbor, a $650 million economic development project at the University of Maryland and along Route 1. Next month, we're going to be breaking ground on a regional medical center in Largo. Yes, indeed, at the Largo Metro. We like transit-oriented development, and a lot of this made possible, and some of the economic activity because of the Prince George County New Economic Development Incentive Fund, which basically leveraged $23 million with $750 million of private investment. I know I'm stealing Rashawn Baker's thunder here, growing and retaining 9,000 jobs in our county. I've always believed that the federal government plays a critical role not only in performing the core functions of government, immigration, homeland security, emergency management, but the federal government also plays an important role in bringing economic opportunity to communities across the country. And with strong congressional support, I'll take this opportunity to acknowledge my good friend, the minority whip and a representative of Prince George's County, Steny Hoyer, who would have liked to have been here but had a prior commitment. But with Steny Hoyer, strong congressional support across the aisle, we've been increasing federal presence in Prince George's County, investing in NASA Goddard and Greenbelt, building a consolidated state-of-the-art headquarters for the Census Bureau, opening NOAA's cutting-edge satellite operations facility and weather prediction center at the Suitland Federal Center. And here we are today. The development of a new, modern headquarters facility for the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services is another step forward for our county and a real game changer for this community. USCIS, with its dedicated workforce, is uniquely positioned to protect our national security, enhance our economy, and preserve our long tradition as a diverse nation of immigrants. USCIS will be at the forefront as Congress makes the important decisions to modernize our immigration system for high-skilled workers, entrepreneurs, students, refugees, and dreamers. This world-class facility will allow the men and women who work at USCIS to better collaborate and more effectively accomplish its mission, and will save taxpayers millions of dollars. USCIS and the 3,700 good-paying jobs it will bring will also be an economic catalyst for the surrounding community. USCIS, this is a major economic development win for Prince George's County, and it's long overdue for the quality facility that you deserve. This is a big win today. Thank you, everybody, for coming out, and welcome to Prince George's County.
Thank you very much. Next, I'd like to call the U.S. Director of USCIS, Director Cisna. Would you please come forward and introduce your team with the entire leadership team of USCIS is here today. So thank you very much.
James, do you want to come up and just stand aside? It's the Deputy Director, James McCammon. Well, thank you, Peter. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm honored to be here for the groundbreaking of the new USCIS headquarters at One Town Center. I'd like to thank GSA, DHS, Peter Schwartz and his company, and the USCIS team for working diligently to make this groundbreaking a reality. I would note, though, I didn't see the director's ceremonial residence in the plan. I thought there was an omission. We'll need to work on that. Yeah. I appreciate, in any event, the hard work that has been done to get us to where we are today, and I look forward to the consolidation of our headquarters staff into this one central location with a ceremonial residence. I have been part of the USCIS workforce and worked closely with USCIS during all my years of service with DHS. I know the employees of this agency, their work ethic, their passion, and their dedication to service. Indeed, I would remind you all, as we sit here shivering, that down in Puerto Rico, our colleagues in the field office there are reporting to work every day, and they don't have power at home. They keep going home, but they come to work every single day, even though they don't have power at their own home. So that's a sort of camaraderie and dedication to service that our agency represents. Every day, as I said, USCIS employees go above and beyond to adjudicate immigration benefit applications, petitions, and requests in a fair and balanced manner, while identifying and combating fraud. Their hard work is instrumental in safeguarding the legal immigration process, and I'm proud to be a part of this team of extraordinary people. Our new facility will bring together 6 separate work sites currently dispersed across the DC area. I look forward to the work that we will accomplish together in our new home. My hope is that coming together at One Town Center will boost agency morale and operational effectiveness. Working side by side will allow us all to better serve the public, to efficiently fulfill our mission, and to continue to strengthen the security and integrity of our nation's immigration system. I'm excited for the future of this agency and to our new home here in Camp Springs. Thank you all for joining us here to celebrate the beginning of this new chapter in USCIS's history. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Director. Well, good afternoon. It really is a privilege for us all to be here at One Town Center for the groundbreaking. I would also like to acknowledge, as the Director mentioned, that we have several of our representatives of our senior leadership across the agency who are sitting here in the bleachers, so I just ask you to stand for a moment. I won't ask you to introduce yourselves, but our representatives here to see our new home. Thank you. I'd also like to thank Peter, there you are, and the Schwartz Management Company for your vision and dedication to this project. We're really happy to partner with you and with GSA on the design and construction phase of our new facility. It really does represent the culmination of years of work by GSA and DHS, including over these last many months, and I want to especially note to GSA, I appreciate the partnership as we proceeded through the building phase. As the Director mentioned, for the first time in our USCIS history, we will have a centralization of our headquarters operations in our soon-to-be world-class facility, which will really allow us to collaborate with greater effectiveness, to be together in one site, to fulfill our mission for USCIS as well as for the Department of Homeland Security. It's been a real pleasure and honor to be involved with the project, working through the blueprints, and committed to creating a working space that will really foster increased collaboration and camaraderie among our headquarters team. So we will be watching over these next 2 years, and including all of our staff and team at the headquarters in the various buildings, to inform them as we develop from a groundbreaking to construction to the move-in day. And in just a few years, we will have our new building, as the Congressman mentioned, dedicated to our critical mission here in this new neighborhood of restaurants and retail shops, dry cleaning, and all of the restaurants and other elements that are being built, along with the metro access just down the road. It will be a great new home. Finally, I would like to introduce the members of the USCIS team who've been working so diligently on this project. I'd have them stand briefly with the rest of the group. Gina Barrett, Kathy Bowie, Bianca Branch, and Olivia Holtberg. I really just want to say how much we all appreciate your hard work in these last months, before that, and for these next 2 years ahead. And thanks to each of you, from our team, from GSA, Peter from your company, from Prince George's County, Congressman as well. We really appreciate the support, and thank you all for your part in helping accomplish USCIS's vision to bring our headquarters team together under one roof as we continue to serve and protect the homeland. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those kind words, James. And one thing I want to add that about your team at CIS, I've worked with many teams in many buildings over several decades, but I can say there's sincere flattery and then there's flattery. And with the sincerest flattery, I can say that working with the team at CIS has been one of the real pleasures of my working career, because they are so sophisticated, so on top of their point, so helpful and so energetic in accomplishing their goal. So you should be quite proud of your team. Thank you very much to CIS employees. Now I'd like to introduce Tim Horn, who's currently the acting administrator for the U.S. General Services Administration. As GSA's acting administrator, Tim leads a staff of 12,000 employees nationwide, overseeing more than 375 million rentable square feet of property and approximately $50 billion in annual contracts for the federal government. GSA's mission is to deliver the best value in real estate, acquisition, and technology services to the government and to the American people. And I can tell you from the 20,000 pages in the RLP to deliver this building, they got every single detail that we had to pay for. So really, you have a great staff. Tim Horn, Acting Administrator of GSA.
Good morning, Congressman Brown, Director Cisna, Deputy Director McCammett, and other elected leaders from Maryland and the delegation in Prince George's County. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for allowing me to have the opportunity to thank some of the folks that worked so hard on this project. Peter in the introduction mentioned that there's a lot of things that GSA does. We have 12,000 employees. I've had the privilege of working for GSA for a long time, and I've been the acting administrator since January. And the best part of my role is to be able to be a cheerleader for the really outstanding public servants at GSA. So as I mentioned, I've been acting in this role since January. So I've been to a few of these events, and the good projects always have three common elements. It's pretty much like clockwork. The first one is we have a great team, which I'll talk about in a minute. The second thing is we make great business decisions and get good deals. And finally, we have good customers that are dedicated to doing their mission, and we focus on supporting them so they don't have to worry about those details. So let's start just briefly and talk about that terrific team that I talked about, and really my main reason for being here today is to recognize those folks. So I'm gonna go through quickly. Just stand up when I call your name, please. Chris Weisner, Santoni Graham, Mary Carmen Medema, Edith Toms, who's our attorney and an old buddy of mine, Mikhail Peterson, Chris Fracaro. But we don't have many John Smiths working on this project. Jay Lee, William Rupi, Roger Peralt, Eric Pino, Paul Gimpy, Deborah Hart, Neil Matamura, and Lisa Richmond. Give a hand to the great GSA team. So after we have the first ingredient, which is a great GSA a great team of folks and that are dedicated to making a project like this successful, The next is to take a look at the deal itself and the work that this team did in an effort to meet their fiduciary responsibility, their stewardship responsibility to the taxpayer. So let's talk about what this deal means from a business standpoint. First of all, USCIS is going to reduce their footprint by 128,000 rentable square feet. It's going to save the agency $21.4 million in annual lease costs in the first year. That's money that can be... There it is, yeah. Hi, boss. They're going to reduce utilization rate. That's a big thing for us, is reduce the utilization rate from 184 square feet per person to 140. It's going to as was mentioned before, centralize the headquarters for the first time in the history, and reduce costs and improve efficiency by not having multiple lease locations across DC. So I talked about the people on this project. I talked about what a good deal it was, and the final component is having a great customer, USCIS. Thank you for your partnership. I also think it's worth and very important to mention that as we, in times of with challenges to the federal budget and need for fiscal restraint, we always talk about being more efficient, reducing costs, maximizing efficiency. But I think the great thing about this building is it's going to also improve effectiveness of the employees, and it's going to give people a great home for years to come. Along the way, promoting economic development here in Prince George's County. So if you think about again, this is really GSA at its best. This is what we're here to do, which is to support our customers. It starts with a great team who got a great deal, who's going to provide a great space for the men and women of USCIS to serve the taxpayers. Thanks for being here today, and especially to the GSA team. Thank you all very much.
It's amazing how many people need to work diligently, usually all day and sometimes during the weekend, to make a deal like this come together. Many of them aren't here today, but the people who are here today come from Shalom Baranis Associates, one of the premier architects, designed the World Trade Center after 9/11, and the Capitol, the City Center. The lead architect, Catherine Pigmore, Emily Eric from her office, Annie Barber, Dan Stover, Manuel Guerrero, Nick Meshman, Babadu Gaya, Ananchega De Soya, and Terrace Monsica, all from the Shalom Baranis Associates office. Then from Secure Solutions, we have Mark Gardner, Monica Pittman from Holly Briggs, the interiors, Greg Simons from Langan Geotechnical Engineering, Ronaldo Ricciarsi and Chelsea Serrano Piche from Randy Cathy Powers Brown, Matt Jacobs from GHT, Dana Stebbins, who is not only is a working member but a partner, Tamiko Washington, right here, my chief of staff. All of this that I'm doing is, she usually just points what I'm supposed to do every day, says what I'm supposed to say every day, and then tells me when to leave, which is usually around 3, because that's all she can take of me. But Carla Gatling, my chief executive assistant, Crystal Hall, another chief executive, Tim Kisser, PNGS Development Officer, Patrick Prine, Chris Broman, Ron Hayes, Michael Cardeman, the PNGS Development Team, Jim Davis, Kevin Clark, Clark Associates, Will Clocks, Jim Davis, Davis Construction, Nancy Randall, Wells and Associates, who did all the traffic studies for this area, Alan Kaysen over here, Esquire, who works with getting the incentives from the county and our legal team, Kenneth Rice and Lindsay Banner of MuniCap, who does the bond underwriting, Vince Cravilla and Judy Simpkin. The Simpkin and Cabrilla are legal attorneys with GSA. Brian Sullivan, Art Tarowski, Jeff Hurwitz, and Nancy Kitchens from JLL, our broker, and Alan Arnold from Stantec, Thomas Arilli from CTL Capital issuing the bonds for this deal, Fabricio Vasquez, Phillips Realty, Richard Lanston, or Sedalia. And that's only the key people, not to mention all of the people. So what I would like to say is to thank every one of those people, if they could stand for a moment and be recognized. Now I would like to introduce the chairman of the Prince George's County Council, Chairman Derek Davis. He's been absolutely one of the most powerful, effective, efficient, and brilliant leaders that the council has seen, only preceded by Mel Franklin, his predecessor. Now, Chairman Davis is rushing up here to the stand because he's afraid that I might use up some of the 45 minutes that he's allotted. See, he thinks that 3 to 5 means 35, but it actually, Chairman Davis, it actually means 3 to 5.
3 to 5 again, Peter?
3 to 5.
3 to 5, my
3 to
friend.
5.
3 to 5.
Okay.
So you can tell Peter and I have done a little work together, huh? Tends to know me, but I'd be remiss if I didn't invite my colleagues on the council to join me up here now. Come on, Ms. Toles. Ms. Toles, Mr. Franklin, Mr. Patterson, Ms. Glaros, my vice chair. Come on up here. That's one thing about being part of the legislative branch of government. You can't do anything by yourself. And here's the reality, is that it takes 5 votes to make anything happen. The county executive can do it all by himself, but then he has to come see the county council. And then it takes 5 votes to make anything happen. Well, to make this happen, let me first thank Mr. Peter Schwartz. He doesn't get enough applause, but his tenacity and perseverance, without it, we wouldn't be standing here today having this groundbreaking. So give Peter a round of applause. And because we are who we are, we want to welcome and thank Acting Secretary Duke, Director Cisna, and Deputy Director McCammett, as well as Tim Horn from the Acting Administrator from GSA for being here today and for choosing Prince George's County. Please give yourselves all a round of applause for making Prince George's County your next home. You know, for the county council, as a body, we made a commitment to doing what you're doing today about 6 years ago. Mr. Franklin was actually the representative who represented this area prior to redistricting. And then Mr. Patterson inherited the area. But as a body, Prince George's County is ours. Right. I heard someone say that there were places in Prince George's County where things like this could happen. We are trying to enunciate to the world that there are places all over Prince George's County, at least 15 places very similar to this, some of which don't have as much dirt, some have trees, some have things that we like to preserve, but the reality is that we look at it as opportunity as a body. And we named that opportunity transit-oriented development. And our commitment has been to creating transit-oriented opportunities where you could live, work, play, and pray. You know, we left one out some time ago, and I was the benefactor of such. We left out the idea of health care. I think you heard a gentleman already articulate that maybe in about a month, we're going to put another shovel in the ground and begin the process of building what is essentially a health care facility that will serve all of Southern Marylanders. I don't want to challenge anyone, but I did hear someone say that we were looking at 2020. Is that the designated date that we're looking for in the year of 2020 to make this happen? Fiscal year 2020. So my goal is to make sure that all of the effort that has gone into getting us this far continues and redoubles, and that this council and that this body, as we serve the citizens of Prince George's County and welcome citizenship and immigration to Prince George's County, will do everything in our power collectively to make that homecoming a great homecoming. Is everybody in here ready for that? Everyone's in here is ready for that, right? Yeah. Because here's the reality, and this is what we learned in this process, isn't this right, Peter? Teamwork makes the dream work. Did I say teamwork? What does it do? makes the dream work. And if we're going to dream as big as we've dreamed, whether it be on the National Harbor, at New Carrollton Metro, at Largo Town Center Metro, at Suitland's Metro Center, where we already have a governmental entity in the Federal Census Bureau and the Navy, we have to work together. And that's the commitment, whether it's cold or hot, that we need for you. Okay? So I'm going to get out of the way because I promised I wouldn't take the 35 minutes that Peter told me he was going to give me. And I was going to stick to the 3 to 5. But what we are cheering for the greatest opportunities and welcoming new family members. We'll love you. We'll love the process of building, and we'll love to invite you back when the time comes. God bless.
All right.
I'd like to hear a few words from Obie Patterson, whose district this is, and whose dedication and hard work we owe a lot to for keeping on our side during all this time that goes on. Then I'd also like to remember that Mel Franklin started in this district, and he got the transit-oriented incentives that started off with Aspire there, and we're building the duplicate building on that. So thank you, Mel and Obie.
Thank you, Peter, and good afternoon to all.
Good afternoon.
My goodness, I know it's cold, but just give me a little feedback. Good afternoon. All right, that's a little better. Let me just say how happy I am to be here with all of you for this very special occasion. We've waited long and long for this to happen, but thank goodness the day is here. You know, those saying that, this is a good day, and we should just rejoice and be happy and live in it. Right. Well, we should just rejoice and be happy that this project is in Prince George's County, along with District 8. And I might say a county that is primed for future development. Sure, we had a few bumps along the way. That's typical when you have a project of this size. But let me just tell you, I want to give a special shout out to those individuals who hung in there, who stayed the course, who did not give up, and I believe they did so because they realized that this was a big project and we could least afford to let it slip away. So thank you, and you know who you are. I want to recognize the Camp Springs Civics Association and the Camp Springs community as a whole. I think I spotted Mr. John Bailey, who serves as the president. He's over here to my left. There's some other key members up there, Tina and Serene and some others. Ms. Jones, whole gang, stand out and just wave, because you're in this district too. That being said, let me just say again, thank you so very much. We believe it's a great investment, and we think that all of us are going to have a great time, and that you're going to bring some shops and restaurants and some homeowners, some solid taxpayers. So we're looking for all those great benefits that's going to be good to Prince George's County. Thank you very much, and please come again soon.
Amen. All right. They'll be back. Good job. All right. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you very much, Councilman, Councilwoman. And one of the people that, or the groups that I should say, that nothing can be done without, but actually are the most important in getting things done. For instance, nobody thinks about water and sewer. This project didn't have water and sewer, but they made it happen for us. This project needed a DSP to be approved for the Maryland National Capital Planning Commission, and we needed it in 75 days, and they made it happen for us. This project needed permits, and needed permits fast, and under the leadership of Dr. Hytham Ajazi, one of the great agency heads, he made it happen. We have, and I have worked in all the jurisdictions, some of the most efficient, effective public servants in these agencies that make the workings of these projects take place. And now I would like to introduce Rashern Baker, who, when we took over this county was a mess because of past administrations. And Rashern Baker brought in a thing that we needed most. He brought in integrity, he brought in honesty, and he brought in single-minded a purpose that he was going to change the reputation of this county. And he has done that. Let's hear it for Rashern Baker. Now, Rashern and I never always saw eye to eye, but one thing that you can say, get over here. We never saw eye to eye on everything. In fact, we fought like brothers. We fought like brothers for an entire year. But the sign of a good leader, is he may have thought this should have gone to another location, and he did. But the sign of a good leader was when it came time to it, he looked at what was best for GSA. He looked for what was best for CIS, and he looked what was best for the county. And the sign of a great leader is he doesn't look out what's best for himself or what he wants. He looks out what's best for his county and for the agencies, and he made the decision that this is where CIS belongs. So thank you very much for sharing. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you. Hey, can we give Peter a round of applause? He is truly one of the best negotiators. I don't know if we should send him down. Might be able to send him up on down to Capitol Hill, Congressman Brown. I think he can negotiate with the president. But I do want to echo a couple of things before I get started. I want to thank some folks for coming out. This is truly an important project. We're glad to have Senator Joanne C. Benson here from the 24th District. Let's give her a round of applause. You know, like everyone else, I want to welcome USCIS for being here. I also want to thank the Secretary Dukes for coming in, and from GSA and all the people who made this day possible. It's a great day in Prince George's County. You know, when we started, as Peter said, started the administration, we decided we were going to focus. There are 15 undeveloped metro stops when we began. That's what the chair was talking about. But we decided to focus on 5 of those because we only had 4 years and possibly 8. And what I've learned in my old age is you can't do everything. And if you're going to do it right, you got to focus on them. I'm proud to say today, and Congressman Brown talked about a lot of those metro stations, whether it's downtown Largo, where the hospital is going to go, whether it's New Carrollton, whether it's University Town Center, or whether it's right here in Branch Avenue for the projects not only here that Peter is bringing to us, but the project across the street. All over Prince George's County, you see this development taking place. I don't think anybody 7 years ago would have thought that Prince George's County would lead the state in job creation. I don't think 7 years ago people would have thought that close to $7 to $8 billion would be taking place of development would be taking place across Prince George's County's 500 square miles. But it's done that because we had really good people working. When we decided to come up with the Economic Development Incentive Fund, as the council chair said, you know, I'm a council of one, which is great if I had the authority just to write some legislation, but I'm not. It took the county council to go beyond just their little boundaries and think about the county as a whole. And you think about that is a big thing to do, to put your political career on the line. But we wouldn't have been able to make any of these changes had these men and women who sit on the council, who have to vote for these things, actually voted for this. And we should give them another round of applause. But you know, I don't, actually do any of the work that goes on the in the government. There are dedicated men and women who do that. Dr. Hijazi was talked about in terms of the permitting process. Certainly 2 people that are here that have, worked very hard. I want to also note that Roland Jones, who heads up our central services right there. Can we give him a round of applause? Working very hard. A lot of these men and women left their comfortable private sector jobs and came on board because they're public servants. 2 individuals I'd like to signal out for really working hard on this project and others. certainly, when I think we asked David Iannucci to come down to the county and meet with me at the very beginning of administration, what we told him was we wanted his advice. We didn't tell him we were going to kidnap him and keep him. But because of the work that he's done as one of our assistant DCAOs, we have been able to move this county forward. David, if you could stand up, we can give him a round of applause. And certainly the last gentleman I'd like to introduce had no interest in coming back into the government. And I have a good way of like shaming people and pleading and begging and trying to convince them. And certainly I think I did a bad job because he said no more times than I thought it would take. But what got this gentleman back, and I'm so glad he came back to the government, was not because he wanted to help Rashawn Baker. It is because he understood what it would take in order to move Prince George's County forward. We've expanded his portfolio, and every time I need an innovative idea on what we can do to make this county better, I've taken a problem, I put it in his lap. This was one of them. I told him, figure out how we could get it done, how we could make this work, right, Peter? And he did it. Look at Peter back there. But if I could have Tom Himmler stand up, and let's give him a round of applause. Like Peter, like the government, we're fortunate that we have dedicated public servants who are willing to go above and beyond the call of duty to make the quality of life for people who actually work every day in these government services. What I can guarantee you, the men and women who will be working in this area, is that we in Prince George's County are going to do everything we can in our power to make sure that your work here is enjoyable, your entertainment here is enjoyable, and that you spend time and spend money. God bless you.
So that concludes our ceremony, and I would like to acknowledge that there is one person in my life that plays an important role every single day, every single morning, and that's God. I believe that God leads me to be a better person and a better life, and through prayer every morning, and I talk to many of you, many of us in our company, we believe the same thing, and that we acknowledge that God is the head of all, and God can give you the faith and give you the strength to keep on when all else fails. And things can fail. As the county executive said, he heard no from Tom Himmler a lot. I heard no from Tom Himmler a lot more. But Rashawn finally got his yes out of Tom Himmler, and so did I. So thank you, Tom, for continuing to work with us. That was it. Made my life miserable, but that's okay. So we made it through it. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, God, and thank you for all of the hard work everybody has done to make this possible. We have refreshments, so we're going to serve over here, and thank you all so much for coming.